What is up, guys? It's Verns back again for another Supercoach video. This time it's the NBA Round 3 review. Things went poor. Things went poor. I'm sure if anyone watched the last video, we chose to fade Jokic, and the difference that made is just insane. Huge step backwards with the team this week. Losing 12,000 places, back to 3,091. We scored a 943, and it's one of those things where if you add Jokic in instead of, the premiums I went for, we talked about it not being, it couldn't be worth it to trade Butler. Obviously, Butler gets injured, and that's unforeseeable, but, in the hindsight that if I did actually trade Butler and I got Jokic in, the amount of additional points I would have gotten, would have been upwards of 200. So, that's a complete difference maker for the team. The only good news is that I look at in this situation is that, okay, Sabonis, who I ended up going the Sabonis route, didn't work out, and he only played 2 games. Butler really only played 2 games. He got injured on 3, so it doesn't really count as a game, in my opinion. So, basically 2 games there. At the end of the day, if they both end up playing the rest of their games, they get an extra 100 points on the board. It's really not that bad. I think also with the team is that it is a good structure, and it was just a big difference between missing Jokic and not, and that's just how crazy it was if you went Jokic. So super painful for us, but that's just how it is. We'll jump into the team, have a bit of a look at it. We will be doing the live later tonight. We're going to be doing a live for the Supercoach sword play tonight with Boz and DR, so super keen for that, guys. Definitely come in and watch that. I will also appreciate all those that have tuned into my videos, those that have liked and subscribed for the consistent injection of Supercoach content directly into your YouTube feed. So this is how the team stacked up. In reality, you look at Butler's 55, Sabonis' 50. Hypothetically, say we did choose to move Butler for Jokic instead of Sabonis. He, obviously Jokic outscores them by 100, so plus 100. He outscores my captain by 60, plus 60, that's 160. Then you add on the rookie score that we would have gotten. Let's say Minute was on field. Maybe Knapp was on field, there's another 50 points. You end up with 200 plus points, and that's where the 200 points comes from, guy. So, you're not looking at it thinking, he scored 200, man, but what about your players? It's like, no, I've taken that into account. It's still a minus 200 not going Jokic this week. So super painful there. And look, you can't see every game as well. I think that's the hardest thing about this game mode. You can't watch every game. Obviously, I'm super hype about how well AJ Mitchell's turned out. Obviously, someone that I watched the first round. I watched his first 4 games, and I was really big on getting him in. I felt like he was a really good player, and he was going to be a good on-field option, and he really delivered. 97, that's nothing to sneeze at. That's almost at premium level scoring. That is elite to be getting off a rookie. And then Roland's kind of the other way around, which is really funny. Someone I never saw a game of, but you looked at the stats, you looked at the break-evens, and you went, I kind of have to pick him. That's insane. And then I ended up watching 2 games, and he was bad, and I was like, oh god, what did I do? I picked someone that's just, I guess, the contrast. My eye test put me to Mitchell, and Mitchell was incredible. I didn't get an eye test on Roland, and I was like, oh man, this guy doesn't look like the pick. He ain't doing it. And then in the last 2 games, his first 2 games weren't very good, and they're the ones I saw. But then the ones I didn't watch, he popped off really well, got 20 plus Supercoach points in both those games, and ended up getting Thomas to 70. So ended up being a really good pick, and it was just surprising that it didn't work out. And Edgecombe ends up finishing on 48. I'm pretty sure he didn't play the last game, or if he did, he didn't really score on it. That's actually wild. I want to kind of check that out real quickly. If I jump back to the NBL matches of this week, because this game was today, I hadn't actually noticed that his score didn't really move. Did he not? No, he did play. He only got a 10. Okay, maybe a bit unders from him then, because he was on a 4-game week this week, so not the greatest week from Edgecombe, unfortunately, but I'm sure most people would have fielded him because of how good he had been. Shepard came back with a good game. Really happy with all these rookies. I look at these rookies, and I'm really happy with them. Yes, Jay Williams is probably the only one that it's like, but at the end of the day, I got him for the cheapest I could, 3.5 mil. He's already made over a mil. It's not a bad, it's fine. It's actually good. We look at the team this week, and I really don't feel bad about this team. Other thing I want to focus on, guys, is we've got the Cup coming up this week, the Supercoach Cup, new game mode that's been introduced. You guys can see it right here. It's all about this week. The top 1,600 coaches, based on their weekly score for round 4, 16,000, will qualify for the Cup. So with this, I feel like we're in a good enough spot that we should be qualifying, but I do think it definitely benefits us in a sense not going Jokic. If you did go Jokic, I mean, the crazy thing about Jokic, obviously the additional points, like, yes, definitely worth it for the overall game. I guess I'm focusing on the cup because the overall isn't great right now, so I can focus on the cup, hopefully do well there, and then I can focus on the overall later once I get it back on track. But the only good news I'd say with Jokic is, it's nuts. Jokic obviously scored an insane amount of points, actually ended up earning money. He's going to be more expensive now to get him later, which is insane. But the only good thing there is if you win a Jokic, you're probably forgoing a Wemby, a Antetokounmpo. You're probably forgoing a 4-game plus top tier player. I understand you can kind of yo-yo. You can go Jokic to Wemby, Wemby back to Jokic. But I mean, I think in a good position to make sure I'm just getting qualified for this cup. Huge shout out to Wemby, who has absolutely derailed my season. Look, I can't blame him completely. I obviously didn't start Wemby because I didn't like his fixture. He had a gangbusters round 1, so I almost felt like I was forced to get him in because I felt like he was 5 mil underpriced at the price he already was. And then teams really have just been so physical with him. The Wemby we saw in week 1, we haven't been able to see that Wemby. We kind of saw it for 2 games in the next round, and then he got kept to 15 against Miami, where they were super physical with him, super aggressive when he was trying to dribble, and teams sort of saw that, and they clearly implemented it this week, and every game felt like a hard game for Wemby. And it's just so painful, because if I didn't end up putting all my resources into getting Wemby, who I thought was a must-have at his price, because I thought he's going to make money and be a top-tier premium, then that's basically Jokic. I could have not gone a Wemby and probably gotten Jokic last week, but instead I got Wemby, who ended up being bad for 2 weeks, which kind of sucks, and I missed Jokic. So he single-handedly ruined the start to my season. So I'm going to blame Wemby for that, for debating me so hard. But yeah, you also can't foresee stuff like Butler and Sabonis. That's just super unfortunate that happened. But yeah, we're making a lot of money on the rookies, so we're in a good stead so far. We can still turn this around. Shea has been massive every week, which has been so good. He comes into a 3-game week, so he's maybe the rookie I'm looking to bounce. I'm super set up for this week as well. You look at it, Wemby on the 4 games, Butler on the 4 games, Antetokounmpo on the 4 games, Sabonis on the 4 games, even people like Roland on the 4 games. Yes, Edgkin has only 2 games this week, but we can bounce them off the field. White bounced back this week after I traded them, which I expected. Once you trade them, that's going to happen. Dallas have 4-game weeks, so I've got a lot of 4-game week players. I'm really well set up. I think it's really just Shea that can go, and then I can sort of hold that money to help get onto Jokic next week. Butler's obviously come back and played 2 good games, so we're going to be holding him because he's got a 4-game week this week, and Sabonis came back for an okay game. Yeah, a little bit unfortunate. Obviously, we also talked about going Sengun, and Sengun went nuts. 118, outscored him by almost 70 points. I understand that he played all 4 games, unlike Sabonis who only played 2, so yeah, just the unforeseeable things which really hurt. This week, something that we do want to focus on is obviously we want to be looking at that fixture again. I'll be honest, I should have brought it up beforehand and really started focusing on it before I started talking, but there's one thing that I know I want to focus on, and that's the Pelicans. Pelicans run from here forward, I think it's 5 or 4 weeks of just 4-game weeks, 4-game weeks, 4-game weeks. It is straight up nuts. I have this saved somewhere on my computer. So I'm just going to jump to Arson Dragon's profile because I know it's at least there. Arson Dragon. And yeah, definitely for everyone that hasn't followed him, definitely go ahead and follow him. This guy just nails the spreadsheets and makes it so much easier to play the game when you can see the fixture ahead of you. So yeah, quickly jumping down to where that is. Dun, dun, dun. Here we go. Having a look at week 4. He did a nice little spreadsheet here about teams that have some pretty crazy... Oh no, looking 4 weeks ahead. That one was a few weeks back actually. Where have we got? A few weeks back for this one. I'm looking for his main one. Sorry guys, really should have pre-prepped this, so I'm not stalling for time right now. Here it is. Here's the updated one. So from week 4 onwards, Atlanta have a double game. That's nice for Johnson. Unfortunately, he missed a few games, so that sucked for our boy, Boz, who's probably absolutely smashed it this week. Obviously went Jokic. Charlotte have a really good fixture. I think I want to try and get Kirk Brenner if I can. It was great that Landale made some money here, but I'm pretty sure Kirk Brenner just made more at the end of the day. If I jump to break evens... Oh, it's actually AJ Mitchell up there with a dope break even, which we'd love to see. Did Kirkbrand not play good in his second game? I guess he has a 4-game week though, so his expectation is to score significantly more. And if he's already started, yeah, there we go. So he got 1.2 mil. He's already up 3.2 million. That's nuts. 15 break even, but for a guy that's been playing as well as he has a 4-game week as well. He had a good first game, so clearly his second game wasn't as hot shot. Scroll down for me, please. Here we go. Yeah, 31.18. Still really, really good for the price. So I think I want to pivot Kirkbrand into the team just for the... I can actually play him on field, which is good too if I really want. I can pivot him down to the flex position if I bring in... Oh, well, I have Sabonis there, so I'm not going to do that actually. But still, someone I think I should be getting in. The rest of these guys, I don't know. I don't know if they're all standing out to me. Obviously, we just talked about how good Pelicans' run is, so potentially someone that's there. Yeah, the other guys I want to look at is we want to kind of just jump back, look at these Pelicans. So we want to look at these premiums as well. Pelicans, insane run, so I really want them in. Orlando have a good run right now. Portland have a good run right now, which is good. Portland 2-game week. Orlando two in a row. LA 2 in a row. Dallas still 2 in a row. Cleveland 2 in a row. Yeah, Charlotte, yep. So I really want to get on these Pelican players just because if you can build a good baseline with guys that have 4-game weeks, then you can kind of just leave them there and you don't have to worry about them and you can trade around them, and that makes life a lot easier. Saying that, when I'm looking at players and I look at the Pelicans, oh my lord, they just do not really have players that interest me in the slightest. It's the only thing that makes me not want to go for them. The only one that's interesting is really Trey Murphy. Yeah, the rest of these guys just not interested at all. Murphy's really playing to his price, but playing to your price on a good fixture, I think that's worth it. And yeah, then we had Fears, who was the other rookie that we talked about last week, potentially being good. So in this 3-game week, how did he go? About 12 points a game? I mean, obviously, that's just basic maths. But how did he actually go? 10, 10, 16. For his price, though, that's fine. So we could look at Fears. I kind of want Kirkbrand. Kind of want Trey Murphy. I would love to get Banchero or someone like that. It means Knuppel can get on for these weeks. He's been good enough. I think, do Houston have one right now? Nah, they just came off a 4-game week, so good from Shepherd. Milwaukee have one. I can hold on to AJ. He'll be just on a 3-game week this week. That's fine. Memphis are out of theirs. Boston are out of theirs. But Cooper's still got his, so if I can try and get as many 4-game players on the field as possible, that's great. So yeah, I think we go Shea out. Fair bit of money, as I mentioned. Not happy doing this, but Fears could be the guy that comes in here. And then do we use Shea's money to get 2 decent... Can I get to like a Banchero? That's the other thing. I could go for a Mitchell right here. Kind of love the idea of going a Donovan Mitchell. Let's just play around with this for a bit. So if you go to Donovan Mitchell, it puts almost 10 mil in the bank. As I mentioned, I kind of really want to go Landale. If I look at Supercoach Plus, he's still got a good break even. He's still making money. So Landale really isn't the biggest deal. If Kirkbrand ends up making $1 million more than him, then like... because they're basically the same price from here, so this is a real just direct sideways. If he ends up making $1 million more, it's really not a big deal. Will he make more than $1 million more than him? Probably. I really like what Kirkbrand is doing. With this kind of money, I could easily put this on top of a Cowan and then just boom, straight upgrade to like a Banchero. Don't know if I want to do that though. I wouldn't mind getting Williams out, but then I need to go someone else down if I had to do that. Yeah, which is a bit awkward. Could I do something stupid like that? Could I go an AJ Mitchell out? Nah, break-even's too good. Lowest break-even in the game. I can't move him out. What am I thinking? Roland's 38 actually isn't that crazy low of a break-even. He's got a 4-game week. He's clearly been good enough, though. I think we keep him on field. Do I dump Sabonis early? I could dump Sabonis down for Banchero, and then that easily leaves me money to go to a lot of other players. Can go to Portland as well. Portland have his name Avitas or whatever his name is. That's really good. This is the last game for Butler. Yeah, really trying to make that decision. What do I do with the rest of this cash? Obviously not going to move Wemby, not going to move any of them. Knuppel like, these just make sense on field. I'm not going to move any of Edgecombe or anything like that, I think, either. Edgecombe's been too good of a rookie, but, can I justify going Edgecombe out? 21 break-evens, obviously pretty low for a guy of his caliber who can easily put down like a 60 in a 3-game week. Which they have a 2-game week, actually. Philly have a 2-game week, so 36, the 21 break-even, that's nothing crazy, actually. Could I go Edgecombe down and Shepherd? We get Fears in? And then that allows me to go if I want to Banchero, or I can go to Trey Murphy. Probably should go to Trey Murphy, let's be honest. I probably should. Break-evens. Fear was pure point guard, wasn't he? Why can I not see him here? I thought he had a low break-even. Fears. Am I blind? You know, he probably doesn't have a low break even. I probably was just looking at the Pelicans at the time. Pelicans. Here we go. Fears. What's his break even actually at? 28, but on a 4-game week. That's fine. I think we do that. Fears in. We bank a bit of money. It puts 10 mil in the bank. And then I can go up from Jay Will if I want, really. Yeah. Can always move Minute down. Yeah, Trey Murphy comes in. Gosh, with this kind of money, could I actually afford Banchero, though? I kind of want to see if I can afford Banchero. That would be pretty wild if I could. Let's get off the break-even game. Let's look at actual Week 3 summary. Oh, Banchero is pretty poor in his second game. Sorry, his third game. I can't believe how well Julius Randle's doing. For anyone that originally watched my, first video I did, you guys remember that I had Randle on my team and then I moved him out. He's made $2 million. He's been one of the highest averaging players in the league. 30 points a game, third highest for a power forward, and he's made $2 million. I can't believe that. Look, let's be honest. I only had him in my team because I knew the name Julius Randle. I didn't really know much beyond that, but pretty nutty in reality that he's done so well. Would have been cool. So yeah, Banchero, the way he was explained to me, he's averaging 5 points more, but we've always got such a good fixture. I think we have to just go for Trey Murphy. But the way it was explained to me by Boz is that Banchero is a real yo-yo player. He can show up and put out absolute stat lines. Like, nut stats. But then, and the games that he went really big in, he had really efficient shooting. But sometimes, apparently, he'll just show up and just, can't hit the backside of a barn. So, look, this is maybe a bit weird also moving Fears on because of the 4-game week. Even if you look at the projected, Mitchell in a 3-game week is expected to score more than Fears. He got 10, 10, 16. If he gets another 10 on top of that, he gets 40-something points. Mitchell's playing so good, he's scoring 20 a game. So I'd probably keep Mitchell on field. We got Donovan as well here for the 4-game week. Yeah, I think this makes sense. Fears, Shepherd, Landale, as I said, is really a big deal. His break-even's a little bit less. Kalkbrenner, yeah, probably makes more money, but at the end of the day, they're both just sitting on my bench. I could be scoring more points, making these trades, maybe even making more money making other trades than Kalkbrenner, who maybe outscored, as I said, maybe he makes $1 million, maybe he makes $2 million on Landale. It's like, okay, that sucks. But because I was playing aggressive on field, I made a ton more points. Maybe the players I moved on field, someone like Donovan Mitchell is an insanely low break even with the ability to score. He ends up making enough money. The players that I've managed to move elsewhere made up for the difference in the money they lost between Landale and Kalkbrenner, plus the bonus points on field. So that's kind of what I'm hoping here with this logic. Sorry, we're going to get Trey Murphy, obviously, on field. Let's just, you go with Minot, and then you go up here. And then when we look at this team, 4-game week, 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 4-game week. Meaning the only one without a 4-game week is literally AJ Mitchell, who's playing so good for a rookie that I am happy to take that role. So this feels pretty dope. This team feels pretty damn good. Yeah, I understand. Jokic could literally score as much as Wemby on 3 games. That's just how it is. I'm probably just going to stack the team up like this. Looks pretty good. Next week, Wemby will then be on 3-game weeks for the next 3 weeks. Maybe I just move him to Jokic. Where's Jokic's schedule? Jokic plays for... My brain just blanked. Who does he play for again? Denver. So he's got a 4-game week in week 5 and then a 4-game week in week 7. So, yeah, he's got the same... Yeah, he's got the same. Yeah, so that's better. So, yeah, maybe we just yo-yo Wemby to Jokic next week. Obviously, I'll need to make a little bit of money to do that. I can't just put 2 mil on top of Wemby and I get to go to Jokic. No, I'm probably going to have to put 7 mil on top of Wemby, which is insane. Butler will finish his good run, though, so he can go. Sabonis can go. We can upgrade Wemby. Maybe still get a semi-decent premium because... Sabonis is quite significant. He could go down to a 12 mil player to get Wemby up, plus Butler. Yeah, we can make this work. Getting a good rookie, hopefully a good rookie, someone with a low break even. But yeah, I think the team looks dope. I think we've got the right idea. I think we've got a really good baseline for our team. It sucks that we missed Jokic. It sucks that we missed so many points this week, and it really knocked us back. But I think we've got a great team this week. We're easily going to qualify for that Supercoach Cup, in my opinion. I think we're going to play it safe and just run Antetokounmpo as the center. I mean, outside of Jokic, I think he's the second highest scoring player if we actually look at averages. Yeah, second highest scoring player, so we're obviously not going to risk that. We're just going to run Antetokounmpo. You do have someone like Luka, who's actually on a 4-game week this week as well. If you wanted to roll the dice there, he follows that up with a 2-game week, so you'd have to really yo-yo him out then back in. But yeah, he came back, but then he missed again. I don't know, Luka feels a little bit weird with all the games he's missing. Also, his break-even isn't even low, so it's nothing crazy. I don't know if he's currently injured. But yeah, I think this is pretty sick. Pretty good setup for the team. Feel pretty good about this. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. I've rambled on long enough. But I really appreciate all those that have tuned in, liked, and subscribed for the consistent injections of Supercoach content directly into Supercoach feed. Join us for the live later tonight. We will get on in about an hour for that. So look forward to seeing you all then. Bye.